This is just going to be a quick video to show how I added some LEDs to this Athearn Conrail caboose. This came out pretty recently, pretty inexpensive model. I just weathered it up a little bit using my normal techniques of fading, some rust. I know towards the end of Conrail, these look pretty beat up, so I added some covered windows with some wood, plywood. Per the prototype photos that I saw, by this time the roof walk and ladders would have been removed, but to be honest, there's some huge holes in the roof. Would have been way too much work to fill that in, so I just left it as is. It's good enough. It's, like I said, a pretty inexpensive model, and I just wanted to bring this to the club that I recently joined. We had an ops session, and bring your equipment and go switch out some industries and so on. So I wanted a caboose for that. So I, like I mentioned before, added some lights with a magnet. There you go. So you don't have to run track power. No cutting holes in the bottom of the rolling stock, and you can't really see any wires. You could see them up there, but pretty all self-contained. I did it on both sides. So let me tear this thing apart and I'll show you how I did it. So with the shell removed, you kind of see the inside here, what I did. I'm powering the lights with this style battery. I picked up a box of these on Amazon for near nothing. 2032 battery, 3 volts. And I'm only running 2 LEDs, so these LEDs are rated for 3 volts. I definitely recommend checking your LEDs, whichever you plan on using. I bought a bunch of these in bulk, different colors, and they all can handle 3 volts, no problem. One thing I did find was without resistors on them, they were extremely bright. Almost as bright as a headlight on a locomotive. So I didn't want it that bright since it is just a marker light. So I added LED or resistors, one on either side, and it brought it down to a decent brightness. Still a little bright, but it's enough to see it, and I think it looks pretty good. The switch on the inside, I don't have an extra one. I just ordered a few more, but it's a glass tube reed switch. You could find them on eBay. They're not expensive, but they're also not cheap. I think I got a few of them for like $3 or $4 a piece. But it's a lot easier than cutting a hole for a switch like I did on my UPS truck here. I didn't really want to cut a switch or cut a hole in the bottom. Also, considering this is a metal plate, I'd put some electrical tape on it so nothing would short, but I really didn't want to remove the weight, and I didn't want to drill a hole through the weight. So the reed switch was kind of the best option for that. So for the light housing itself, I used a Detail Associates ditch light housing. There are no lenses for those, so what I ended up doing was I drilled a hole through the back of it. I fed the wires through. The LED itself is one of those 402 LEDs, very tiny. This is a red one. It was just the right size to fit in there. I filled it in to make a lens. I actually filled it with some canopy glue. It dries clear, and then I just used some of that Tamiya clear paint and just kind of painted it red. So it looks good when it's off, and then when you turn it on, it's also red. So that's pretty cool. I plan on doing another one to this transfer caboose. I'm gonna kind of try to do the same thing. A little bit nicer of a more detailed model. So I need to find a couple of housings for the lights. One difference with these transfer cabooses, what I've seen on some older videos, is they had, again, the light off to the side, except they were kind of an amber yellow color and they flashed. So I ordered some flashing tiny 402 LEDs. So I'll try to do something like that. But one thing I'm going to do a little different than on this one is I'm going to put 2 switches, one for each bulb, because I think it'd kind of be a little annoying having the forward-facing light flashing. So this way you could kind of, I'll probably mount the switches on each side, and you could use the magnet to turn on either the front or the rear LED. Again, you can always, you know, mount a decoder in there. You could put pickups on the wheels somehow. But for me, it's just, I don't know, it's too much. I hate when it, you know, they go over a little bit of dirty track and it shuts off or flickers. I know you could put maybe a keep alive, but I don't know. I think this is just a little easier, in my opinion, for what I'm doing, to put a battery in it and just run it off the battery. For the amount of time that I run the Caboose at the club, you know, a couple hours a month, if that, I think the batteries are going to last long enough. So one other thing, kind of maybe you guys noticed, I did end up weathering this Rapido B36-7, going off a bunch of different photos, talking with some guys I met at the club who actually worked for Conrail. They got some cool pictures. They kind of pointed out how these battery boxes, I believe that's what they are, a lot of the photos I saw, they were all rusted out. He said, one of the guys said they were always about to fall off. So I kind of replicated that. I did a little bit on the hood and on the roof with some rust. I kind of did, again, the same thing. I faded it with the light white, thinned down white, and then I also went ahead and streaked some of my artist oils very thin, and it kind of gave it that light streaking. You kind of see it on the roof there. Airbrushing some oils on the top for the exhaust. I just used a sponge and kind of patted it down. But I had some footage of actually weathering it, and it somehow got deleted, so pretty upset about that, but what are you gonna do? This is how it turned out. So be running this a lot more too on the layout and over at the club. I'm tempted to get another one to run 2 of them because it just runs so well and they look so great. So anyway, that's it for now. I just wanted to show you guys that little project with the Caboose. I like kind of the lighting. Maybe you guys have noticed I have an interest in lighting, and so whenever I can, I try to add little unique things like this to my models. So anyway, that's all I got, so thanks for watching.